What is going on? This is the secret history living inside of your aquarium, my aquarium, all of our aquariums. Right now, we are not in an aquarium. Speaking of aquariums, so what are we doing? This is an English cucumber. One English cucumber costs around $1. Go to Trader Joe's or someplace like that, Kroger brand stores, whatever. So, why did I do what I did here? Now, it may look as though I've just randomly assembled things, or maybe I got artsy. And the truth is, yeah, I got artsy here. But what we're looking at is feeding plecos and vegetable eating fish. Now, there's all sorts of cool and useful swirly metal deals that you can skewer cut up veggies onto for your fish. Those are great. I have nothing against those whatsoever. If you want to go out and buy them, that's fine. I got this bag, though, of bamboo skewers for, I believe, like $1.99 on sale somewhere. So let's take a look at the anatomy real quick of this cucumber. This is English cucumber, so more so seedless, or technically they're going to call it seedless. But I've skewered it in a specific way, and I think it looks cool. But that's not why I did it the way I did. On some of these shorter pieces, I've just made the best use of cutting a cucumber how I could, and this S shape is important to me. So this outside area, yes, autosynclus and loaches, probably shrimp, snails will definitely dig it, and pleco will definitely love it. But it's this soft side that they can all get to, including other fish like guppies and, fish you wouldn't expect to see eating. So what I'm going to do right now while I talk about the rest of this is I'm going to go put this into a tank, and we'll see who comes up and starts eating, because it's got a little bit of everything on here. We've got just the inside area, just the skin, and then we've got slabs of the actual cucumber. So we're going to take it over to the Hillstream tank, which now has a beautiful guppy in it also, or I should say a trio of guppies. And we're going to put it in. I like to put it a little out of the way of the current. You can get bacteria blooms and things like that sometimes, but I'm just sticking it in the ground, and then I'll kind of find a spot. Let's see here. We'll find a spot for it to rest it against the rotala or something along those lines. It wants to float, but if you can stick it into the ground, it should be good. If you've got substrate, if you've got rocks, you can kind of wedge it. But even within a few seconds, we'll probably start seeing some action here. You can see that now these, mind you, are particularly meat-indulging pleco. But I do have these little loaches in here. In other tanks, pandagaras, zebra loaches, yo-yo loaches, autosynclus, marble autosynclus. The other fish that I have in other tanks definitely are going to jump right onto this. Even things like ram's horn snails. In this tank, it's a little more limited. I've got nearite snails and stuff like that too. But I find that cucumber is one that, yeah, it can cause a little bit of cloudiness around where the fish are eating and stuff. But it's a fairly benign, doesn't taste like a whole lot. It doesn't put out a foul odor or anything like that. Whereas some of the other fruits and veggies, you got to take out real quick, and they kind of dissolve fast. These are nice. I like cucumbers over zucchinis in particular, just because you can see that there's this skin, and if the animals don't eat it, that will be all that's left usually. And the water kind of just dissolves it, because elementally speaking, these are just like cellulose. And so when you're cutting these up, what you want to think about is surface area, because if you have a bunch of babies, for instance, like these are going downstairs, and what I want is I want my babies to be able to feed a bunch at once. So I'm putting a big surface area here. We'll scoot these apart, and then on the back side, if they want to practice rasping, they can do that, and then we'll put a soft one that has the innards on it here. And yes, it's also another great way to catch snails, ram's horn snails, things like that. But it's primarily going to be feeding your fish, hopefully, right? So unless you're trying to catch snails for puffer fish or something along those lines, then these skewer traps slash food things work well. But the other way you could do it, if you don't have a flexible cucumber, if you're working with shorter cucumbers or something else, is you can just put them on like this, run the skewer through the center, and try to get it up against that skin, and that will keep it on there as long as possible. It still may fall apart towards the end if you leave it in there more than 24 to 36 hours. I've had them last up to like 72 hours before in tanks with low predation on the veggies. That's not really, I don't know, is that predation? But in any case, we're going to take these downstairs, and there's different vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, and calcium, potassium, and phosphates inside of this, as well as a lot of electrolytes. So believe it or not, there's some salts, and there's some minerals. There's a little bit of iron, and the potassium permanganate, I think, is in its form that they can extract out of that. But regardless of all that, that's why I like to switch it up, because you can have one type of like pleco or something working on this backside, and then you can have someone who's more picky who needs soft, flesh, tender veggies working on the other side. Then the wood skewers, all biodegradable. I think that's good in the sense for, the world at large. You can reuse them. They don't get too gnarly or anything to reuse, and you can just grab them and pull them right out when you're done with them. So there's a lot of great things about that. But again, metal is another great thing to reuse. It just costs a little more initially, and that's all. But I hope this helps you guys a little bit, and in a minute I will try to put some B-roll glimpses, as I suppose we'll call them, in this. But regardless of all that, if you made it this far, you like these tips and tricks videos with a little bit of background, then please like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. And this channel is funded through super chats during live events, as well as PayPal deposits at alexanderjwilliamson@gmail.com, at paypal.com. If you don't want them taking a cut of 20 or 30% or whatever it ends up being. And then the subscribers, also, you can think about supporting on Patreon, because that's how we get stuff, new stuff to play with, new fish, things like that, and new equipment to record and go out and seek new stories and adventures. So have a wonderful day, and I hope these little tips and tricks and ideas work for you just a little bit, because your plecos really need these fresh foods in their diet. Green beans, zucchini, carrots, celery. There's lots of different things, but zucchini and cucumber and some of the squashes seem to be the premium choice for my fish. That's what they seem to go for. And then on the other side, you want to be giving them spirulina, algae, and then something like brine shrimp or something biological, animal, with a little more protein in it. So enjoy, take care, and I'll talk to you later. Peace. Alright guys, B-roll. Right off the bat, we've got some neocaridina blue dream shrimp eaten, babies eaten, babalti shrimp eaten, so they're nice and happy. We've got endlers trying to decide what they can do with it, but then we've also got baby green dragon plecos eating, which is always good. These are bristlenose ancestris is their real name, green variety. up here, we don't seem to have much of anything except for snails heading their way and shrimp. So the shrimp think that it's game on, and the starlight and citrus and the corridors don't seem to be paying attention yet. Now, what is next? Oh, that's what's next. That's what I'm talking about. This is the couple of the, wow, look at that, just wingspan on that beautiful gal, and the onodontodes on this regal male, and their babies are in the picture. So he went right for rasping away, and you'll be able to see, yep, see those little divots all down the side there? That's why they like the skin. So it's good to have alternating curvature so that some can chew on the outside, some can do whatever they want. Looks like the babies are attempting to chew on the outside of it too, but let's take a look on this side just to make sure. And no, it doesn't look like any of the babies are going for the soft, easy spot. So we will leave them alone because I clearly just scared them off of their meal. And also I just wanted you to see, look at the action that happens underneath the cucumber. So even though not everybody, not the Hebrosis, not the Corridoras are eating on it, fish gather, and you know, they do their thing. Down here I can see that my adult green dragons are taking a look at if they want to eat or not. And then over here I could see that, I'll try to not scare them off, but I bet I will. Yep. So we've got the Siamese algae eaters, we've got the longfin green dragons, all eating on one bar. And then over here we had pandagaras and pencilfish, oddly enough. I don't know, don't expect it. There's a pandagara working on it. I love me my pandagaras when they're not working on cucumbers. A lot of times they'll come and work on my hand, which is why I love them. Although my wife and I, oh, and we got a shrimp. It's hard to find these shrimp in this big old tank, but there you go. You know, my wife and I just went out tonight, and we basically decided to get ourselves some pedicures. And I've got some fancy metallic nails just in time for Halloween coming up. So if you were wondering, Alex, where did you get your awesome fingernails? That's the answer to that question. Alright, let's take a last look on what people are doing. People? I keep calling fish people. I think I might be having a problem. Do you guys have that problem? Alright, let's see what the people fish are doing upstairs. Alright guys, so we've got Siamese algae eaters eating on this. We also, what else is eating on it? I see another fish. What is it? Why can't I find you, fish? Oh, a pandagara, and then another Siamese algae eater. So see, that is why you do the S or the double helix kind of look. You can do another one going the other way then. Like where it touches, it goes through here and then skewers down below and overlaps a little bit or twists this way. And that will give you the most space on those sticks. And see, this one I didn't put into the ground because it's gravel substrate that's an inch thick. So I just wedged it in between a log, and I only have to put my hand in thus far, a foot or so, half a foot to get it. Over here, I guarantee you there are baby Plecos over there munching on it, but that tank has been disassembled and it is nighty-night. Also, look at this. Baby Crebensis are eating the soft spot. On that note, didn't know I had baby Crebensis again. I knew I had one or two that are bigger than that are still here. But I guess she just hit the ground, but she decided to have some more babies. So, fun. While we're here, give them an old dash of Mrs. Dash. No, I'm not feeding my fish Mrs. Dash. I'm feeding them Sarah Tropical granules. And then the last tank, the one with the hill stream critters, way too much biomass for them. Totally need to recalculate cucumber for this tank. Even though there's loaches and things, they're moving over there. They're excited. The algae is kind of over there too, which they like to munch on. And I let them have a certain amount of algae grow in this tank. But I do have to say, so you see the two adult panda loaches are on it, but the baby doesn't seem to know or like the taste so much yet. You see him kind of being apprehensive. Shrimp love the taste. They're all over this thing like shrimp on cucumber, shrimp on cuke, and even it looks like some of the fish are maybe picking up little pieces that are getting knocked off. I don't know. We'll see what goes on in this tank, but there's definitely a far too large amount of this stuff. And side note, you want to just cut back on the amount of the bio load in the tank in the form of this cucumber or any plant mass. Even though it's good, healthy plants, it will turn into ammonia, nitrates, other things that you don't want building up just as it breaks down. See, this guy should be interested, even though he eats meat, he should be interested at a young age in omnivorous stuff. He is a nocturnal critter, so one more thing, if you don't see all your animals jumping on it, like you saw downstairs, the Plecos all over it, let them just chill until nighttime. Do this around the evening time and check on it later, and that will give you a much better idea of who's eaten, how much has been eaten. These guys will probably not even do a dent in that area, but some of the other fish may. So we'll wait and see before I just automatically take it out, but I think that skin's going to be way too tough for anyone in this tank. So recalculating. All right, guys, so I've been blabbing long enough. There's also some baby albino long-tailed plecos in here that will probably enjoy it. Very, very young, a couple weeks old. So hopefully, as I turn the lights off, everyone settles in, including my wife, and everyone sleeps with cucumber dreams. I'll talk to you guys later. Write me in the questions if you have any, and have a great night, like I said for the third time. Bye.